My feelings about this game are very conflicted, because I have never liked Sonic games. As a kid, I tried to play through some of the older ones several times, and I couldn't force myself to finish any of them, so I gave up on the franchise. Then, Sega started adapting to the new generations with those 3D monstrosities that I don't think anyone likes, and I tried a couple of those games to see if they were any good, but they weren't. They weren't. That's when I decided to stop caring about Sonic. And so, when I heard that Sega had hired 2 fans to make a Sonic game, I wasn't really that interested. But when I saw it on a Steam sale, I thought, meh, let's try. And I'm glad I did. First, I have to clarify why I don't like the Sonic franchise. The main reason is that I like to play games. And when I say this, I mean play them myself. When I play Sonic, I feel like I'm not the one in control. It's like the game is playing me. Everything's so fast and confusing that, even if it's the goal of the game, for me it takes away from the experience. When I play, I like to think of the experience sort of as going on a trip. I like to enjoy the ride, I like to appreciate the landscape, stop, take a walk, and be able to just sit and take it all in. But I cannot do that if my car is moving at an absurd speed and there's a psychotic man driving that tells me when to stop, where to go, and what's the route. That's how Sonic feels to me. You just walk into a bouncer and rush through the level without really knowing where you're going or being able to enjoy the ride that I love so much. However, and even though it's still a Sonic game, therefore including this characteristic that I dislike so much, I kept playing through it because I wanted to see what these people came up with next. This is such a unique game. There's a total of 12 or 13 zones, some of them based on the original Sonic games and some of them completely new, but each of them felt completely different from the others, like each one had their own personality. You start, as always, at Green Hill Zone, then move on to the Chemical Plant, both stages taken from the older Sonic games, and they are pretty much what you can expect. Good level design and fast-paced gameplay with all the distinctive Sonic stuff, nothing new. But then, Studiopolis? What? This is something new, something that feels fresh. You start to notice how every zone brings something new to the table. I kept playing not because I was having fun, but because I was curious. What's gonna come next? Balls that make you kind of bounce without giving you much speed? Gravity fields? A looping column that you run through? And they kept surprising me. Every time I entered a new level, I had high expectations on what to find, and they were always met, if not surpassed. Besides, artistically the game is stunning. As I said, each zone felt so different from the others, but that's not only because of the mechanics. The scenery helps so much as well. The extremely colorful levels fit perfectly with the fast-paced gameplay, and the tunes fucking slap. You could practically know how the level was gonna go just by hearing its music. When I finished, all I could think of was, damn, it's a shame that I don't like Sonic games, because I have just played through a fantastic game and I could have enjoyed it so much more. Hades is one of the best roguelike games I've ever played. I really like the progression in this genre, where you keep dying and you're able to make it just a bit further with every playthrough. The mechanics are very simple, and the combat reminds me of Dead Cells. You can dash, and you have several attacks for each weapon, that you will choose at the beginning of each run. You start with a sword, but there's a shield, a bow, a spear, a couple of boxing gloves, and a gun. And why would the Greek gods have a gun, you may wonder? To what I reply, and why not? Each weapon has a unique playstyle and moveset, and every single one of them is rewarding to play in its own way. Personally, I loved putting my gloves on and feasting my enemies to death with them. You can upgrade your weapons to obtain passive bonuses known as aspects, and you can also equip several trinkets that the characters of the game give you. These characters are the representations of several Greek mythological figures such as Nyx, Zeus, Achilles, or the Three Fates. They are drawn in a sort of comic book style that fits the game perfectly, each one with their basic traits represented in the drawing, and voiced by some actors that I wish I could meet just to ask them how the fuck do they do it. The voice acting in this game is exceptional. AQBNDE plus. What? Okay. Well, the voice acting in this game is exceptional, and the characters feel so real and fleshed out that sometimes I would choose a path because I cared more about what they said to me than the upgrade that they were going to give me. I can't imagine how hard it is to come up with a script that feels like some dudes having some drinks at a bar while still carrying the story and then dubbing it with so much emotion and staying so true to what the real conversation would be like. And this voice acting is matched by an outstanding soundtrack. The music of this game fits really well with the general ambience, helping you get immersed. I'm listening to it while writing the script, and all I want to do is open the game and do a quick run. Every time you die, you go through the House of Hades with a soft and calm music, which serves as an interlude between runs, sort of a rest, a calm before the storm. Then, you gather your strength and go for it again, and the moment you cross the door toward the Tartarus, you get hit with this. And you're like, fuck yes, this time I'm doing it. And when you finally beat the game, you can make tons of changes to the gameplay to make it harder, such as facing more enemies, healing less, or taking more damage. As far as I know, they are not needed to make progress story-wise, so the difficulty is entirely up to you. This game is honestly a lot of fun and way better than I expected it to be. I would recommend it to anyone who enjoys a challenge. A Short Hike is the last game I played this February, and it's a wonderful experience. The game consists, as the title says, in taking a short hike, and very short indeed. It took me 70 minutes to finish the game, but I kept playing after that, because I couldn't quite part ways with it yet. It was such a calm and intimate journey that I was unable to just put it down once it was over. I yearned to explore every corner of the island, to keep discovering small yet pleasant surprises, and to stay isolated in that little paradise just for a little bit longer, forgetting about the world around me. The whole experience feels like a cozy dream that you don't want to end, and when you wake up, you try to go back to sleep, fully knowing that there's not much time left until you inevitably have to get up and start your day, yet not being able to fully let go. This is how beautiful this game is. In A Short Hike, you play as Claire, a teenage bird who is trying to enjoy summer in Hawk Peak Provincial Park, but keeps worrying about a call she has to receive. Impatient to receive the call, she learns that the only place with a phone signal in the entire island is the summit of Hawk Peak, and so she sets off for a hike up to the top. Along the way, you will encounter other hikers with whom you can talk, and items that Claire will store in her inventory, as well as feathers. The golden feathers are the main progression mechanic in the game, and you need to collect a number of them to get to the summit. You begin with the ability to walk, jump, and glide in the air. And the feathers will allow you to climb, run, or flap your wings, gaining some extra height. The more feathers you have, the longer you'll be able to run and climb, and the more wing flaps you'll be able to do before getting tired and gliding to the ground, where Claire will rest, thus letting her feathers regenerate. And with such simple mechanics, they create one of the most immersive games I've ever played. Everything in A Short Hike is beautiful. The graphics have this gorgeous style that uses enormous pixels, and even though it may seem a bit unconventional, you quickly get used to it and start noticing how entrancing the scenery is. The landscape created for Hawk Peak Provincial Park is so colorful and full of glee that it makes my day better just thinking about it. It's simply incredibly wholesome. And unexpectedly diverse too. In an era where every new game released is trying to be bigger than their predecessors, A Short Hike gives you a tiny map with many different sceneries inside, but without making the island feel cramped either. It just feels like everything is in the place where it belongs. The music too is perfectly placed. You never feel rushed, they don't want you to hurry. there's an overall feeling of peacefulness and tranquility throughout the entire game, and that's something that I just loved. This game felt like an utter opposite to Sonic. As I explained before, I enjoy the journey as much as the destination, and A Short Hike is a game that wants you to get to the end while deeply caring about the road you follow to get there. They want you to love and take pleasure in every step you take. And the music helps convey that feeling of calm discovery. This is a very short game that has earned a place in my heart and is bound to stay there for a long while.